Hi, and welcome to the ABCs of Autism. I am Dr. Lynette Louise, otherwise known as the Brain Broad, which is why I'm always hanging on to this brain, because I'm into brains. And I like to help people at home and abroad. So that would be the explanation for that, and I'm sticking to it. Today is the letter L, depending on how your camera is mirroring me. And I bet you thought I was going to do L for love and connection. I thought I was going to do L for love and connection, but I think I've touched on that with every single letter of the alphabet so far. So instead, I'm going to revisit something that I sort of mentioned in the letter C for courage, and that is the problems that come with puberty and sexual drive in autism. So the letter L is for lust. I like using the word lust in this category because most people don't think of somebody with autism, especially somebody in a lower functioning situation. They don't think of it as a sexual drive so much as just a puberty problem. But testosterone in boys and even in girls, just in case you didn't know, when a girl is reaching her time for ovulation, she doesn't just have the estrogen and the progesterone, but she gets some testosterone to increase her sexual drive. So sexual drive is a very big subject here because every single space on the spectrum is going to still be affected similarly by their hormones. However, they're going to be helped differently in a maybe a bigger way than in every other category, because most people are afraid to help, especially when they see a child a teenager who's very driven to have some kind of contact with their genitalia and perhaps something soft and squishy. You'll see a lot of kids go running to a pillow and start pushing their pelvic into the pillow. Or, well, my son did something that was really difficult. He used to love that padding that was around the poles at the McDonald's Playland. You can imagine some of the stories that we had. So there was a lot of, get him away from there, while the parents were running. The important thing to understand is this is normal and abnormal at the same time, and you're going to have to deal with it. You're not going to be able to avoid puberty, and it's really wrong to think that you should just leave it to the teacher. The teacher has to orchestrate all classroom activities and the children inside the classroom and the bathrooming and all of that stuff. The teacher does not have time to individualize the help that is going to be needed during this period. Now, testosterone also gives you not just a sexual drive, but it gives you sort of like this muscle tone and this desire to run and go and do and sometimes hit and scream and yell. So it's a really big player in the puberty of your children, and you really want to help them with it. If you think of it as a sexual drive, maybe then, if you think of it as lust for life, but also lust for sex, maybe you can sort of separate it out for them and say, all right, yes, that's a pillow. I just start here. Here's where I start. Yes, that's a pillow. That feels great when you push your body against it. We all do that. We do it differently, but we do it privately. And before I worry about all the rest, I teach private time. This teenage period can be a great social teaching tool if you use it well. But if you shy away and you go, oh, don't do that, or you get embarrassed, or you say, that's dirty, or stop it, you leave the child who's got those hormones flowing through their body, you leave the child not knowing what to do with what just happened to themselves. Think back. Puberty's rough. Puberty with no assistance, no understanding of what to do with this feeling and where it's okay and where it isn't okay and who you can ask and who you can't ask. Puberty without that guidance is, it's a train wreck. It's a problem that is going to grow so big that you're going to end up, maybe putting your child in a group home. When in fact, all you had to do was get comfortable and say, hey, possibly he's acting the way he's acting because he's horny. Possibly she's acting the way she's acting because she wants to connect with somebody and connect her genitals. This is real. So this is your job as parents and caregivers. And teachers, get comfortable. I'm going to tell you a very, very short story, and then I'm going to leave you to think about all this. My son was going through puberty, and he'd already learned to be private and go in the bathroom and take care of himself. He was doing really well. He was at school. This is before I started to homeschool. And he went into the bathroom. It was a private bathroom, and he was in there taking care of himself. And the teacher pulled the door open just as he ejaculated. And he, in surprise, turned to her and ejaculated on her. Now, she was very angry. She even called the police. But in fact, the bad guy in that, or gal, was the teacher. She could have knocked. She really could have. Because he was doing what was right. I share that with you because I want you to understand that the rest of the world doesn't want to deal with this. So it's up to caregivers, direct service professionals, and parents. Come on, guys, get comfortable. I'll put a warning on this ABC. I'm Dr. Lynette Louise, and you've been watching the ABCs of Autism. Like and subscribe.